I was just thinking, it's been raining here a lot, and I haven't been able to work on my dome anymore. But I had an idea. I was going to make some chainmail, and as I was getting ready to wind my rings and all that good stuff, I had an idea. One of the biggest issues that I have regularly with making chainmail is a rig, my box, my rig, my power source. Usually, honestly, I just hand crank them. I've got all my rods, my mandrels bent in a sort of a Z shape and put a handle on them, and I just go to town. I wanted to motorize my rig. Well, one of the things I thought of was, instead of having a bunch of holes drilled in it and a bunch of mandrels that fit and a way to mount or unmount, I thought I would take a piece of copper pipe. This is 1/2-inch copper pipe, and a couple of roller bearings, see here, and a wing screw. I drilled and tapped a hole for the wing screw here so I can do a hold down, and then I'm going to mount this. I'm going to make what I call spool dogs. There's going to be a hole at the base. It's kind of hard to see. I'll show you a better picture of it when it's all done. Here's one of my mandrels that I made. I literally clamped it in a vise, heated it with a blowtorch, folded it over. You can see it's not the best bend ever made. Then I got this little stopper here with a little set screw in it that I slid on and locked in place so it wouldn't go past the bend. Got a couple of holes drilled in it, you know, depending on how thick the wood is of my rig, my jig, for actually winding. This is just a piece of dowel that I drilled a hole in lengthwise. Now the mandrel here is, I don't know, it's sort of curved a little from the way I bent it. I could do it better now. At the time, I had no idea what I was doing. But then I just put one of these little compression caps on the end here to hold that on, and then that was a pretty good mandrel in my rig that I made. It's outside right now. It's freezing cold and raining, so I'm not gonna go get it. I may show my rig later. But I'm gonna just use a straight piece. I'm not even gonna bend it. There's no need for my new spool dog assembly. It's going to be about 3 feet tall, so perfect height to work without having to stoop or bend or lean up or whatever. I don't have to prop anything. And it's short enough that I could even sit down in front of it and work, which is a good consideration for me, because I'm fat and lazy. So I'm not really lazy. I should say that. There's going to be a pulley wheel on the other side of this. That way I can permanently mount the holder here with the roller bearings into the spool dog, and there will be a dowel at the bottom to hold the spools, and it's going to be about 2 feet wide, so I'm going to have a whole bunch of spools, and yeah, this is going to be able to hold my mandrels, so I can use any size mandrel up to a 1/2 inch, which I doubt I'll need mandrels that size for, you know, regular chainmail work. But yeah, this one, like I said, is going to have a pulley wheel on the end here, and this one's just going to be butted inside the wood flush, and they're going to face one another like this, about 2 feet apart. And then I can slide the mandrel in, tighten it down, the little wing screws, and again, there'll be a motor permanently mounted to a pulley wheel on this. I'm going to use a windshield wiper motor of an old pickup truck that we've got, and yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool. I've gone back to the some planning that I've done, and I worked out how it would all mount, and the pulley and the tube and the wing screw and my rod winding the stuff on, and you know, made myself a buy list, went and got all that stuff, and yeah. Oh, let me show you the dowel. This was pretty cool. I got a drawer pull. drilled a hole in the end of the dowel and put the, you know, one of those little the bolts without a head. I forget what they're called. And I just screwed that onto the end, so that's on there pretty tight. And at the other end, I put a safety pin style cotter pin. I can't get it off right now, but I drilled a hole in it crosswise, and I'll take this out, put this through, put my spools on it, slide it on through, and lock it in place. And there you have it. You know, I rounded the end so it'll fit through the holes easily. And this will hold all my spools. I figure I could probably put 3, maybe 4 spools of my wire that I use to make the chainmail. Then I'll have the whole thing motorized. Just wear a glove and ooh, that was the other thing too. Got an old Singer sewing machine foot pedal. It's really wide, really heavy duty, and it works. So yeah, I'm gonna rig this bad boy up. It's gonna be motorized, and step on the foot pedal and the motor starts, and you just go to town winding your links. And since it's gonna be about 2 feet wide, I'll be able to make my springs about 2 feet. So that's gonna be pretty cool. And as soon as I get another sunny day, I'm gonna go finish covering my my dome. But here in Georgia, man, it's if it's not raining, it's freezing. Hey YouTube, yeah, I just wanted to talk about my my spool dog that I've been working on. I got a motor. It's a windshield wiper motor out of an old, I think it's an 86 Ford Ranger, something like that. I had to do a little work with the leads, make sure everything was what I thought it was. Once I identified the slow speed, the high speed, and then grounded out the negative, I had to come up with a power supply. So I pulled a power supply out of an old PC we had laying around. It didn't even work anymore. The power supply did, but the computer didn't. I identified the power leads I needed, the 12 volt. I had to make sure that it had enough amps. I've taped over it at this point, you can't tell, but this particular one is kind of a weird one. It has a power switch. Rather than a switch on the supply, it's got a separate button switch, and then there's my 2 leads, my positive and negative. There's the input. And I've just sort of rearranged some of the cables. I could have clipped them or even taken it apart and moved them, but I just didn't want to mess with it. So that's what we ended up with. And there's my belt and one of the pulleys. There's my foot pedal. It's going to go on that. And then that's one of the arms. And I've marked out the location here where the motor's going to go. Then I'm just laying everything out. Getting ready to do some construction. There, you're on camera. Hush.